Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurshafiqah Binti Hafiz. My metric number is 199213. This is for the subject of BGY 4503, Comparative Reproductive Biology. So today I'm going to summarize the forum about scope of village chicken husbandry. There are 5 wonderful panels and we will start now. So the first panel is Dr. Nik Faiz Nik Muhammad Azmi. He talks about biosecurity. What is biosecurity? Biosecurity is a measure to protect against the entry and spreading of diseases caused by microorganisms, and is also a way to prevent or reduce microorganisms from one farm to another. The plan of biosecurity itself is to stop diseases from entering the farm and also to stop spreading the diseases from one farm to another. So what are the types of microorganisms? We have bacteria, virus, fungi, and also protozoa. So some diseases for village chicken are virus diseases are Newcastle disease, bird flu, gumboro, and also pox. For bacteria, we have Salmonella, E. coli, cholera, and Mycoplasma. And lastly, parasitic, we have Coccidia, worms, and also lice. So there are 3 elements of biosecurity, which are isolation, movement control, and cleanliness or sanitation. Moving on to the next panel, we have Professor Madya Dr. Hasliza Abu Hasim with the topic of newest research on chicken feed. So the problem arises when chicken feed has a high cost because the source is imported. So based on past research about the black soldier fly Hermetia illusions, pupae, and also researchers on insects that say insects has a higher protein, energy, and mineral, Bedsol and UPM has combined to work on a newer research that is focus on the black soldier fly itself. So the topic of the research is potential of black soldier fly as a source of protein in chicken feed. And the research is more focused on the formulation and the effects on the village chicken itself. So the results is, it is true that the black soldier fly is high in protein, fats, and also other minerals such as vitamin B, calcium, amino acids, and fatty acids. And they made a formulation for starter and grower village chickens. And they also studied the effects on production, growth, and health of the village chickens itself. There were no health complications for the village chicken, and they liked it a lot because it is organic. Moving on to the third panel, we have Professor Dr. Jalila Abu, which talked about the diseases in village chickens. The diseases of village chickens are the same as the commercial chicken. There are 2 types of diseases, which are infectious or non-infectious. So to know whether your chicken is sick, you need to look at the symptoms. So what are the symptoms? The symptoms are fatigueness, low appetite, they tend to gather more, skinny, diarrhea, pale, and in worst case, death. About the research, during the 80s, they researched more on the Newcastle disease, which is also known as sampar ayam. Moving on through time, they focused more on Mycoplasma, which is a respiratory disease. And in 2019 and 2020, they researched more on antibiotic-resistant diseases such as Salmonella, and also talked more about food preparation because food preparation is lacking in many ways, and antibiotic-resistant diseases are very dangerous to us and also the chickens. Professor Madya Dr. Lokman Hakim was the 4th panel, and his topic was on the newest research on the quality of village chicken meat. Why is it very tasty? Why is it unique in the taste? This is where he explained it all. And in summary, there were 6 facts that he talked about. Firstly, he talked about the length of the intestine of village chicken is higher, and the surface of the villi is larger, comparing to 2 other chicken, which are forest chicken and commercial chicken. So this means that the absorption is lesser, and this is why the FCR of a village chicken is very high. FCR is when your chicken eats but the weight doesn't gain. Next is meat relative weight. There was a research on the days of the chicken growth, and on the day 56 to 120, the village chicken got the highest meat relative weight. Next, the muscle fiber diameter, which is smaller for the village chicken. The muscle fiber diameter actually contributes to the tenderness of the meat. So as the diameter is lower, the meat is harder and the shear force value is higher. This is a sensory quality, which is an individual preferences, but in consideration, it is known as a good sensory quality. Next, we have the muscle fiber type. There's 2 types of muscle fiber, and muscle fiber type 1 is aerobic, which means it has more blood vessels. And when it has more blood vessels, it means it has more hemoglobin. So the village chicken has a higher muscle fiber type 1, which means it has more color on the muscles, which means the meat of the village chicken is much more redder comparing to the commercial chicken, but the forest chicken has the reddest meat between the 3 chickens. And again, this is a sensory quality. It is an individual preferences. However, it is considered as a good sensory quality. The second last point was about the collagen content in the chickens, and in the village chicken, it is higher. What does it contribute to? It contributes to when we are cooking it, the meat will become more harder because it shrinks, and it will not break down easily. Lastly, we have glutamic acid. Glutamic acid in village chickens are higher. What does glutamic acid do? Glutamic acid generates taste, and it gives a different taste to the meat. And by having a higher glutamic acid value, it means that is why the village chickens are much more tastier than comparing to other chickens. And glutamic acid is a non-essential amino acid, which means the body of the chicken will produce itself. Lastly, we have Madam Aina Zakaria, which has the topic of newest project on forest chicken and comparison of forest chicken and village chicken. Forest chicken is also known as feral or wild chicken. The forest chicken that we are known with is commonly called as red jungle fowl, and it is the common ancestors of all chickens. So why is this chicken nearing extinction? Basically because exploration of land, urbanization, and illegal hunting. So forest chicken are widely known due to culture, religion, entertainment, and arts. It is not known for food or eggs because it is more popular on games and competition. There are 4 types of forest chicken, which are Gallus sonorati, Gallus lafayette, Gallus gallus, and Gallus varius. So the differences of forest chicken and village chicken are a lot, but mainly forest chicken weighs less than village chicken. Forest chicken's combs are small and soft, while the village chickens are large and rough. The ear loop of forest chicken is either white in color or white with red spots, while the village chicken is red. The tail feathers of the forest chicken is arranged closely and can be differentiated, which means we can know which one is the main tail feathers, greater feathers or lesser feathers. While for the village chicken, it is not arranged and it cannot be differentiated that easily. The feet of the forest chicken is dark in color and it has smooth texture. For the village chicken, it is bright in color, whether yellow or brown. The neck hackles for the forest chicken ends with the sharp point, while the village chicken ends with a blunt point. And for the cheeks, the forest chicken has a stripe on the eye, while the village chicken has no stripes on the eye. Genetically, the forest chicken and other chickens were tested to see whether the genetic variation is high or not. So it is done on the number and structure of chromosome, differences of genotype on locus, and sequence of DNA on genome. It uses the molecular mitochondrial DNA D-loop because it can detect the variation 5 to 10 times faster than nuclear DNA, and because variation is in maternal lineage while the nuclear DNA has the detection of parents. So the results from this research is the genetic variation is 94.10%, while the differences is 5.99%. In conclusion, the genetic material of the forest chicken, which is the red jungle fowl, and the other chicken are the same.